I wanted to talk to you about three things that I wish I had known on my healing journey. So I was just thinking about the other day the fact that right now it has been about 5 years actually since I first went on this whole journey of going from being unhappy with the job that I had, being unhappy with, my relationships, with both my romantic relationships and my friendships, and, also not being happy with my health, both physically and mentally. And I went on this long process of learning how to heal from a lot of my own past traumas, learning how to um, be learning how to set boundaries, um, learning how to get clear on what I wanted in my relationships with my family, with my friends, with my future partners. And I kind of wish that when I went on this journey, someone had told me certain things. So here are three of the things that I wish I had known before I started on that journey. The first is that small things add up. So, oftentimes, when we're talking about healing, when we're talking about making ourselves better, when we talk about these self development journeys, we have this habit of talking about big transformations. And this is something that I'm guilty of myself. A lot of times when I tell my own story, I talk about the fact that I went from being in abusive relationships. Um, I dealt with emotional abuse, I dealt with physical abuse, I dealt with sexual abuse, and I went from going through those things to then getting to a point where I was able to set boundaries, where I was able to attract better relationships, and I met the man that became my husband. And there's a lot that happened in between those two things. So, one of the things that I wish I had known when I had seen other people's journeys and when I had, heard all these stories about how other people up leveled their lives is that it really is the small things that add up. You know what I mean? If you want to get healthier, it is that decision to wake up earlier in the morning, to wake up half an hour earlier, to exercise if you're talking about getting physically healthier, or to journal if you're talking about improving your mindset and becoming mentally stronger. If you are on a journey to improve your love life, to improve your relationships, it is the small decision to reach out to people that you know on social media, to get involved in, Eventbrite events or connect in Facebook groups. It's those small things that add up. We all want some big thing that's going to change our life, and unfortunately, it does not work that way. Um, I really wish that I could wave a magic wand and make my life better and make the lives of other people better, but it doesn't work that way. This is why I work with my clients for a few months, and this is why I follow up with them after our time is done, because it takes some time. And not only does it take some time, but part of those small steps forward are also some small steps backwards. You're going to have the moments where you start to feel more at peace with yourself and more at peace with your relationships. And you're going to be more appreciative of the people in your life. And that's going to be followed by a day where you want to cuss everybody out? And it's recognizing that when you're going on a healing journey, it is just that. It is a journey, that it takes time, and that you have to learn how to not just trust the process, but learn how to appreciate the process as well. So that's the number one thing I wish someone had told me before I started on my self development journey, is that small things add up. The second thing is that self awareness and self integrity are practices. And this kind of goes into that whole thing about small things adding up. You have to make the effort to be self aware of what your patterns are. You have to make the effort to be self aware about what your triggers are. Those are things that you work out in meditation, in journaling. Um, those are things that you work out in learning how to be alone with yourself, in learning how to be alone with your thoughts. I'm sure that my clients roll their eyes whenever they ask me about how do they heal something, and I tell them that it starts with self-awareness because it sounds trite and it sounds like kind of like a blanket statement to a lot of the issues that we have, but it's also true, you know? One of the biggest things that you can do for yourself is learning how to spend some time alone, learning how to spend some time in quiet, in tranquility, and to be alone with your thoughts. Some people don't like to just sit still. I completely understand that. If that's the case for you, I would suggest that you free write, that you take out a piece of paper and you just start writing whatever thoughts come to mind. But becoming aware of how you feel, becoming aware of what's happening in your body, becoming aware of your emotions, and getting really emotionally intelligent. So going deeper to not just I feel angry or I feel upset or I feel frustrated, but going deeper than that to why am I feeling those things, and getting more descriptive with your emotions either. So as well. So not just I feel sad, but I feel depressed. I feel downtrodden. I feel frustrated. Getting really to what you are feeling and experiencing in your body and mind is so important. And talking about self-integrity, it takes practice to be in integrity with yourself. This is why New Year's resolutions don't work for most people, frankly, because we all get into this I'm going to get up earlier in the morning, or I'm going to journal every day, or I'm going to eat healthier. And the second the temptation comes along, you didn't get a good night's sleep, so you want to sleep in that day. Or you say you're going to eat healthier and someone offers you cake. Then you start making compromises with yourself. Well, it's fine. It's one slice of cake. Like, no big deal. It's cool. I'll just have this one slice of cake. I know I said I was going to eat healthier, but you know what? I'm going to make up for it. I'll have this one slice of cake. I'll have extra broccoli tonight for dinner. Things like that. It takes practice to be in integrity with yourself. And you have to understand that when you fail, because you absolutely will, that's not just an excuse to give up, that you have to get back on that wagon and try it again. So, again, we're talking about the three things that I wish I had known before I went on a self development journey. Number one is that the small things add up. Number two is that self awareness and self integrity are a practice. And number three, the mind and body connection are so real. Now, this applies to everyone, but especially if you're a woman. Um, Part of our feminine energy is getting really grounded in ourselves and in our bodies. So, when we are working on improving our mindset, there has to be a physical component to it as well. So, improving your mindset is not just about, you know, working on the thoughts that you have. Like, yes, that's the most obvious part of it, but it is also learning how to embody that. And part of embodying the person that you want to be is getting into your body. So that means journaling, not just keeping the thoughts in your head, but physically writing them out. It also means getting rid of the stress and negative energy in your body through movement. And that can look like different things for different people. So some people love to be out in nature, and that's hiking. For other people, that's going to be swimming. For me, I love to dance. I took dance classes for the longest time in person before the pandemic hit. And since the pandemic hit, I put on YouTube videos and danced to those. But part of us releasing tension, releasing stress, releasing resistance in ourselves is understanding that if you have resistance in your mind to the things that you're trying to change, you also have the resistance in your body. This is why you feel stress. Think about it. When you are stressed in your head, when you are overthinking things in your head, it manifests in your body. Sometimes it's a headache. I don't know about you, but for me, it is often in my shoulders when I feel stressed out. I often feel physical pain in my upper back and in my shoulders. So it is learning that the mind and the body are so intimately connected, and that a huge part of learning how to go on this journey of improving your mindset and changing the way that you think, um, and learning how to embody the highest version of yourself, the woman that you want to become, is understanding that if you're doing all of this work on your head, you have to do all this work on your body as well. Again, whether that is hiking, walking, swimming, whether that is just putting on music in your room and dancing, but you have to move those negative energies and negative feelings through your body. So, again, these are the three things that I wish I had known before I started my self development journey. That the small things add up, that self awareness and self integrity are practices that you will be working on for the rest of your life, and that the mind and body connection are so real. As you work through thoughts in your head, you also need to be putting some physical action behind it as well.